Hello, hello, hello. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you may be. Welcome to that Millwall Podcast. My name's Omer. Joining me today, next to me over here, I've got Stephen. Hello, mate.
Hello, Omer. Hello, boy. It's been a little while for me. Are you all good?
All good, mate. All the better for the news of Japhet Tanganga arriving at Millwall today, coupling with Langstaff the other day. Buzzing, mate. I mean, hello, Jay. You're here with us as well. How are you, mate?
Evening, chaps. How are we? Yeah, great news today. It's been it's probably the one that sent Millwall fans Garrity over the last couple of months. So to get this one out of the way, yeah, very happy.
Yeah, indeed, mate. I mean, we've also got our Northern correspondent over there beneath me. Hello, Ben. How are you, mate?
Hi, fellas. It's been a while.
Has been a little while. Preseason, mate. Signings coming in. Buzzing.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. I think it's we do our usual as Millwall fans, don't we? We panic knowing that there's always stuff going to be going on in the background. But I think the two signings we've made this week have all brought that little bit of excitement back to the start of the season. So, delighted with them.
Cool. Well, we're going to roll the intro. Obviously, if you're new around here, be sure to like the video, subscribe if you're new. If you're listening on audio, especially Spotify, be sure to follow. Helps us out a lot, more than you probably think. And leave a review and some comments. We'll crack on with the intro.
Language you don't usually hear on television. Millwall in London's Dockland.
No one likes it, but we don't care. We're that Millwall Podcast. Loud every Friday night right here. Legends like Jimmy and Abdul take a share of the kitchen or two. Super Neil Harris, a fucking legend too. Through the good times and when there's life, we'll support the Lions all our life. This ain't no place for fancy feet. This is fucking Millwall through and through. Located on our very own John Pennison way. Let them all come, let them have their say. Millwall till we die. With that Millwall Podcast, loud every Friday night right here.
I'm still in love with that intro. I love it. Well, I'm
When
missing
did that happen?
Yeah, I was about to say, have you all seen that? Ben, is that new for you?
No. I was,
Have you?
that is
Jason, Steve, have you seen it, haven't you? No, or
Yeah. We were running it back end of last year. So for me, it's the
Goes how
Jimmy
long I've
Abdul
been
goal. The Jimmy
Yeah.
Abdul goal. It's just class to be in there.
yeah, it shows how long you've been absent for, Ben. But yeah, good to
it
have you back,
does, mate. Yeah, it does. It does.
mate. Right, we're going to talk about it. The elephant in the room. Japhet Tanganga has today signed for Millwall on a free transfer after his contract expired from Tottenham Hotspur. Obviously on loan to us the second half of the season, featuring 18 times, 13 under Neil Harris. So, Stephen, we've signed him. We've got our man. How you feeling, mate?
I feel like I could walk 500 miles, to be honest with you. Had to. You asked me first. I thought I'd go
One
get
of
it
us
in.
was going to.
It's a show title after all, so yeah.
It's been the saga of the summer, really, isn't it? It's been a kind of, is he going to sign? Is he going elsewhere? Other clubs are interested. You know, don't get me wrong. I think there was times where all of us, me certainly, were a little bit dubious over what's holding it up. What's the problem with getting a deal done? But superb signing. I think it's really good intent. I think it's a statement that Harris potentially, to those that didn't think he could pull big transfers, that's kind of put that to bed a little bit as well. So yeah, really, really good day for the club. And also, I know we've obviously got a lot to talk about with it, but the announcement video as well, excellent, absolutely excellent work from the media guys.
I noted your tweet back on that one, didn't you? You enjoyed that one, didn't you, Stephen?
Fantastic, absolutely brilliant.
Fair play to the media, as they said there. I mean, that's it. I mean, I think Jay said he's buzzing to be back in his own words. I listened to the Millwall TV interview with him, and also noting the faith the club had in him, and also Neil Harris. I mean, we have persevered with him. We've got him. Like as Stephen said at times, I'm in R, is it going to happen or not? And also, I've noted, I think Harris said, there's been a lot of interest in him, which we all know about, and I think even Harris admitted some stunning offers made to him, but he chose to come to us and come back to Millwall, mate.
Yeah, and do you know what? And I think the fans have played a massive part in that happening because, like he said, the love he felt from the club, and the fans as well, especially that he felt something special. He felt loved here. He wanted to come here. I was worried that does he really want to come? With these teams interested, he's delaying, but you look at the smile on his face the day, the announcement video, the little videos after, what you're listening to, Jaff. Well, he just looks so happy to be here, and yeah, credit to Harris, but also credit to Gallen. He's come straight in the door and he's made two massive signings, and we ain't spent hardly any money. So yeah, it's real good intent from the club. It's identifying what we need early, getting it done. And yeah, it's I'm really, really pleased about it, because this is the one that's had the Millwall fans literally on the edge of their seats. So yeah, really pleased for Jaff, really pleased for Harris, and pleased for the fans.
Harry said it's his number one target as well. Ben, how do you feeling, mate? Did you lose faith over the summer a little bit of that one, or happy we got him in? Ever lost out?
Don't know if I lost faith. There's always doubts, right? And I think it was more just have we put him in the shop window like we all possibly thought back end of last year. The fact that it was kind of dragging on, I thought it probably actually played more into our favour in the end, because I was thinking he's going to want to get it tied up as soon as he can. He's going to want to get into a club. I understand that we had to fight off a late bid or contract offer from Fiorentina. So look, if he has chosen us over Fiorentina, fair fucks to him, because they're not a small club, are they? So yeah, look, as Jay said, he seemed very, very happy with his decision. He clearly loves the club, clearly loves the players. Bomber made a reference to the relationship that he struck up with him in a short time. I think Billy mentioned how much he'd been speaking to him, as in Neil, ringing him over the summer. So look, there was obviously a lot of contact. Was I 100% confident all the way through? Be lying if I said I was, but I was confident.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, was the Fiorentina interest genuine, do we know? Because I know there was a tweet that one of the Millwall fans put out and translated it. If you clicked on his profile as a Millwall fan. So is that what you're referring to, Ben? Or
I saw Fiorentina knocked around. I also listened to Chaps' piece with the Italian journalist. I think he definitely mentioned there was interest from Italy. So I'm kind of putting two and two together.
Gotcha.
Whether it's Fiorentina or not, I don't know.
I mean, 18 games, obviously, like I mentioned at the start of the show, 2 goals, 6 clean sheets, all of which under Neil Harris's stewardship, guys. We've got none under him, under Edwards previously. Joe, I mean, I'll come to you first on that one. I think, obviously, the impact he had, obviously, Harris coming in is, in its own case, been spoken about enough times by us. But I think, you know, Ben mentioned the relationship that Jaff and Harris have kind of struck up, and the trust and faith that they have in each other. You know, he had a real impact on that back four, didn't he, when we changed to it the second half of the season?
Yeah, I think the contrast in performances from transitioning from the back 5 under Edwards to a flat back 4 under Harris, where everything just goes back to basics, just defend your line, really not only helped us as a defensive unit, but helped Japhet really slow the game down. And, you know, because he wasn't 100% fit, it took him a while. So that helped him with his transition of getting himself properly up the speed. And he was that game at Southampton. I mean, I'm surprised he didn't end up in a coma. The amount of headed balls he had to head away. I think he made the most clearances or headed clearances in English football, I think, that weekend. Apparently the stat come out. So the Harris understands what a good player looks like, and he understands that what a player is good at and what they're bad at, and that's all he's done with Japhet. Harris said he can talk about his attributes for hours, but the one thing that's clear is he's a very, 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 and I think he said very 5-6 times. That he's a very good player, and he is. And you simplify something for good players, they turn it into art. And yeah, he was a real rock for us, and look forward to that into next season.
Stephen, I'll come to you next. I mean, obviously, Jay mentioned obviously going to back 4. Harris's style of play hasn't been pretty since he came back, because it was survival mode. Obviously, Edwards attracted Tanganga because they worked together, I think, didn't they, in the England setups back in the day, a few years ago. I mean, are you surprised that Tanganga's come back to us, knowing how we've been playing in that sense? Obviously, he's been loved by the club, players, fans, everyone to boot. So, but he kind of suited us more when we went back to basics, albeit coming from that Premiership pedigree, didn't he?
I don't think so. I actually think we were all surprised at some of the football under Harris, but not because of the way that we were set up, but we didn't play too many diagonals. Cooper was kind of given the ball, or Tanganga was given the ball, and they weren't just lumping it long a lot. There was playing into midfield, and let's be honest, Tanganga's probably the best ball playing centre back we've had for. I mean, Cresswell was okay, wasn't he? Cresswell was okay, but I think Tanganga's a better on the ball than what Cresswell. I mean, it remains to be seen how good Cresswell's career turns out. I don't think so. I think he made a comment about, you know, it's something that players want to feel loved and wanted. The players love him. Harris loves him. The fans love him. And I think that also counters any maybe concerns of the style of football. I know it's not necessarily about how we're going to play this year. This show is obviously built on Jaff, but I don't think we're going to play how a lot of people seem to think that we're going to. And I think Tanganga really can drive us forward and push us up the field. If you think about who he's probably going to be playing with this season, he's going to have Leonard next to him. So those two are going to be mobile. They're going to be agile. They're going to be fairly comfortable on the ball. I think that's going to be strong. Our right-hand side of the defence is going to be really, really strong. And I also think, much like Hutchinson has done prior to him leaving the club, I think Tanganga clearly brought a better player out of Jake Cooper under Neil Harris. So I think it's not just signing a very, 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 as Harris said, good player. It's he can bring the best out of Cooper, his other centre-back partner, and Leonard on the right-hand side as well.
No, I totally agree with you. I mean, Ben, obviously, we're talking about last season, but going into this season with Tanganga being in the fold, so to speak, do you think he's going to kick on and give, same performances like he did last season, expect better? How do you think that's going to change going into the new season?
Yeah, look, I mean, if we got the same level of performance that we got over the 18 games of back end of last season, we'd all be delighted, right? I think his performances went on a trajectory, got better as the season went on. Obviously, got more game time under his belt. Obviously, it was well talked about that he didn't have that many games prior to coming to us, or didn't play at all prior to coming to us, really. So I think with a full pre-season, that 18 games, the back end of last year, it's unfortunate he's not going to be with us for the first 3 games, obviously due to the suspension. But yeah, I only see him kicking on next year, and I don't want to sell him before he's even started, but it's nice to have a valuable asset in the club and someone that a lot of clubs have been clearly trying to get or sign in this window. Look, who's to say if he doesn't have a really good year next year, we get a really, really decent figure for him in the summer of next or the year after. So, look, just delighted with him, and I just see him kicking on next year.
I picked up on what Harris has said at one point. I don't know if you noticed, Ben. He said something along the lines of, "We've got him for now." Like it kind of feels like maybe it is a kind of thing of we're giving him the games, we're giving him the opportunity. I mean, I was personally surprised he played all 13 games under Harris because we were speaking about this injury that he had previously and didn't play first half of the season. But he proved a lot of that was wrong, didn't he, there, Ben? And I guess it is a case of we've got him for now. Let's see what he can do, and if he kicks on and we don't achieve what we want to this season, and we're mid-table obscurity, for example, or I don't know what the ambition is. I think also Jeff said that we're going to kick on this year and hopefully do a lot more, but it is going to be a mutually beneficial thing. It feels like. Yeah,
absolutely. There's no fee involved. No doubt he's on a lot in terms of wages. He's probably going to be our highest earner. But look, I mentioned it in our WhatsApp group earlier. We've got to stop trying to do things on the cheap if we want to progress as a club, and that also means investing in our assets that we can look to sell on. And I just see Tanganga as being one of those. As I say, clearly, a lot of clubs think highly of him. If we put him in the shop window after this year, because he has another great season with us, stays fit. Look, yeah, we have got him for now. Appreciate him for now. I do see him probably moving on at some point, going abroad, might be whatever. But yeah, look, it's nice to have an asset in the club.
Definitely. I think, what is the aspiration this year, do we think? Like, so when they're referring to that, say, Jay, like it is like hopefully kick on, do better, get better. What do you think the club internally are thinking going into this season, if you had to try and guess?
I think the club want to make a stronger push as possible. It wasn't a good season last year. I understand that. Young James has made a lot of changes at the club off the pitch, and he wants to progress. He wants the club to progress. Steve Gallen coming in is probably going to end up being one of the best signings we've made in a while, I think, because his progression with the youth set up, with how he's run that at previous clubs, with the signings he's made so far, the signings that we're still looking at bringing in, it shows, like Ben said, the intent of the club now. And Harris's comments about, we've got him for now, just speaks to, he understands that this is a top quality player. We've got a real coup here. And, if he can benefit us in the short term with his performances to move us up the table, it'll benefit the club in the long term financially as well. So I think we need to transition as a club to start bringing youth through, start bringing projects through to end up selling on and build that back with experience as well. I think that's what we're trying to do. But I think the club is not putting in my opinion, a set mantra of, right, just finish mid-table we'd be happy with. I think it's let's go for it. Let's see where we can get with this and build on this, because this is a clean, fresh slate now. The hierarchy are gone. This is all fresh. Let's not set any anything in stone. Let's just go out there and do the best we can. And we've started that with this transfer window. It's been a good start.
Just to jump in, I was going to say, if you look at it as of next year, right, it's a completely no lose for player and club, because if we go down, we're going to get a fee for him because he'll still be only 1 year into his contract. If we have a really good year with him, we make the playoffs. It might attract them Premier League interest. So it's completely no lose as long as he stays fit. It's no lose for everyone.
On that as well, just to off the back of what both the guys have just said there, I think John Berylson, God bless him, fantastic chairman, was an astute businessman and run the club very, very well. James Berylson is a modern businessman, a modern thinking chairman. He wants to drive the club how other clubs are run at this moment in time, and identifies and sees the value in youth assets, as we've mentioned. And I think James, he's not stupid. He knows very, very well that by splashing the cash in terms of bringing in a high earner, no transfer fee, he could well and truly have some an asset to the business. I know we're a football club, but that's what owners look at it at sometimes. If we have a reasonable season and we get the level of performances out of Tanganga this year, clubs from the Premier League will come calling, and that's when you start being able to reinvest in the squad. And I think James Berylson is taking us in a whole new direction in that sense.
I noted as well on Harris's interview, the first thing he did was thank James Berylson, and he kind of played it off saying, like, of course I've got to thank my chairman, but I feel like that has some value in there because it does feel like you're right to mention, obviously, with John Berylson previously, he was maybe a bit more of a steady Eddie, not going to risk too much, but it does feel like, he's kind of releasing the shackles a little bit here. And obviously we've lost a lot of money last year, I feel like, with, sacking Edwards, obviously Rowett departing, changes internally, obviously no CEO, that we had to replace him. It is kind of really ripping it up and having a go and showing his real intent, but also his interest in it. And I hope that was any of you there, but it does, I kind of doubted his interest at first, not because it's obviously in the family for a long time, but John Berylson loved the club, and we knew that. But I think James is doubly intent to make this go here.
I would just say, if I can, that I think the long-term goal for James Berylson is to market the club and put them in a position where they become a real sellable club to someone that maybe in the future can drive us even further forward. And the only way to do that, you don't do that by letting your players like Jed Wallace go on a free and never selling anybody and not having a decent training ground and commercially and all that kind of stuff. So whilst short term, great, he may continue to, as I say, with assets and things like that. But the long term goal for me is for him to put us in a position where perhaps a bigger investor, someone can take us on. And the only way to do that is to put the building blocks in place. And so far, with the whole hierarchy and everything, that's what I think James has done and will continue to do.
I think Steve Gallen's key for that. Really key. Because
you really think so? Like, as in, I know it's only be a short time. Do you think, like, I know you mentioned him earlier.
Just with the youth, Omar. Just with the youth, like his track record at QPR, at Charlton. He's proven that he cares for the youth. He's willing to bring players through, sell them on. And they normally do well. He's got an eye for young talent as well. And at the moment, who can doubt what he's doing, because ultimately he's the one. Harris might have known these players or have the pull, but Gallen's the one that's got to execute these deals. Berylson will front the money, but Gallen's there executing it. And so far he's executed with the potential goalkeeper and the price that we've seen for that. 3 class players, the best striker in the Football League, the best keeper in League One, a top class, a Premier League quality defender, for less than 1.5 million. That's been reported. So, hats off to Gallen. And youth is going to be really key. Harris said youth is going to play. We need to start going away from letting people expire at Millwall. We need to bring youth through. We need to move them on. We need to backfill with experience, keep hold of some youth. And Gallen's going to be key to that. But I agree to what Stephen said. Like, look, he's a young, modern businessman, and we need to be ran like a young, modern football club. And 100%. We love the old Millwall way. We love being different. That's one of the unique things about this football club. But if we really do want to progress, we have to make some changes. And he's made them changes. And this is a fresh start. I don't think we could put any position on it. I don't think Harris has been told, I need you to finish here this season. I've got my checkbook out. What do you need? Let's get it, and let's go with it. Let's see where we can get to.
See where we go. Yeah, I'll tell you what, that's for sure. And I mean, to wrap things up on Tanganga, I'm sure the Proclaimers will be liking the spike in numbers that they've had the last couple of days with that go around. Because I'll tell you what, it's going to get probably played a few more times by me this week.
Be number one by the end of the week.
Yeah, exactly. Number one in the charts by the end of the week. I'm going to sort of put my head out on there and say that. I mean, I'll come on to Langstaff, because obviously I know Stephen and Ben, you both weren't around, obviously, but we'll come to you first, Ben. Obviously, we've got Langstaff this week, and obviously Tanganga's come in as well. We'll touch on him just briefly, but obviously, if anyone's listening, we've done 2 shows previously this week talking about that. What's your thoughts, Ben? Obviously, Langstaff arriving, and obviously, what do you think the impact is going to have, mate?
Yeah, again, delighted. I think just from a pure goal scoring records, it's been again well spoken about how good it has been over the last 3 years. Surprised we've got him, in all honesty, because again, over the last few windows, it's always been his name linked to big championship sides, with us included. So normally when that happens, you're never getting them. But yeah, look, just really, really happy that we've got a proven goal scorer, albeit I know at lower leagues, but a real proven goal scorer. Harris couldn't really have said anything better. If anyone's seen the BBC London interview or the small clip of it, he's basically already put him in the same bracket as Greggs and Morrow, and said, look, and himself, by saying that the previous players that have come from non-league, this is how well they've done. So look, he's already kind of bigged him up. He seems like a confident lad. Yeah, again, couldn't be happier. Really excited to see what he can do next year.
I, for one, am shocked, Stephen, that Ben didn't mention the Bradshaw bit that Neil Harris mentioned in his interview as well.
I thought he was going to come on later. I
was thinking the first time I come about Langstaff and what Harris said, you're going to be straight on it. But yeah, I mean, Stephen, what do you think? Obviously, Langstaff, and obviously, yeah, what's been said anyway? What do you think?
As Ben said, I was amazed when the link was announced. It was like, yeah, all right, someone's just going to come in, a bit more money, and he's going to end up there. So for us to get him over the line. The thing about the proven at this level, and I know there's got to be a little bit in it. You can't just expect him to come in and bag 30 goals. Like, it'd be great if he does, but you've got to give him time. He's a goal scorer. We've been crying out for a goal scorer, and the club can't do any more for me. So really, really good signing. He does seem confident. Harris is saying all the right things. He's doing all the right things, and I think it was Langstaff himself said that he was looking forward to working under Neil Harris. Everybody in English football who knows it as well as the footballers do, and us as supporters know Neil Harris, know his story. They know that the goals he scored, is obviously his experiences off the field and things like that. I do think there's a little bit in it that strikers do want to work for Harris, and they do want to learn from him. Maybe he hasn't quite had the right ones. He's never had the best opportunity to work with the best strikers. He's the best striker in the Football League based on goal return. You can't argue that. And now Harris has got an opportunity to work with him. So I think it's a really good move. We will come on to the other strikers that are at the club, but I cannot see much game time really for the others if we go with the same kind of system that we were playing at the back end of last year.
Go on, Ben. I'll let you come in now, mate. I mean, obviously, we've got Tom Bradshaw and Nisbet is still involved with the club, and Harris did name drop both of them, saying that he
name dropped one more than the other. Let's be honest here, mate.
He did say at one point that the three of them were going to compete, and I mean, obviously, Fleming's the elephant in the room. Obviously, like we're saying, if we're going to play 2 up front and 2 midfielders, I mean, obviously, what do you think of the impact and where he fits in, I suppose, and where does it put the other strikers?
Well, I think the more important thing, Omer, was where he actually said the partnerships. He's looking forward to Langstaff working in the partnership. I know he then said Bradders is going to help him off the pitch and his experience, but he said about the partnerships, and he mentioned obviously Nisbet as well. So it'll be interesting from that perspective. Seemed like a lot of Notts County fans were saying they always played with 2 up top. He wasn't just a lone striker. You look at a lot of his goals, he's a pure 18-yard box. Like, he's never outside of that. All of his goals are sort of in that sort of square of the goal, if you like. So I think he will work well in a 2. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what we do formation-wise. I can't see us signing him if we're just going to play him up top on his own. I'll be perfectly honest. Just given the goal return he's got and the formation that Notts County have been playing, and then with what Neil Harris has said. So, yeah, that'll be interesting to see what we do formation-wise. Look, love for Bradders is not unknown, as we know, but it's just more interesting from a Nisbet point of view, right? Because that seems to be a bit of a he hasn't really spoke much about him, has he, Harris? And he obviously there was that, again, the off the field issues in the last couple of games of the season. So if anyone's going to be looking going out the door, is it going to be Nisbet? Don't know. Would the club be happy with that, given the outlay and how long we pursued him? Not sure. But look, if we went into next season with Bradders, Nisbet and Langstaff, I think I'd be pretty happy.
No, I totally agree. Jay, anything to add on that one?
Yeah, no, I agree with everything Ben said. That the Harris has kind of shown his hand a little bit. That we probably do intend to play a two. I do think that a target man is next on Harris's link list. We have seen a link that's come out today that I'm sure we'll address of a target man striker, a 6'4" striker, which will probably be the partner if he wants to play a 4-4-2. Nisbet, the jury's still out. I don't think the club will. I think the club are too financially invested in Nisbet to try and move him on at the moment, and I don't think he's had a fair run. He's come to a new league. He's had 4 different managers. He's had injuries. We still don't know what we've got in this bit. But when he was fit, he scored goals. Bradshaw is the epitome of what strikers who come to this club, they need to learn from, because his work rate is fantastic. He carries himself well, great character, good player for the club. He's never in trouble. He's carried that badge, better than most. He's right up there. Bradders is old now. He's the wrong side of 31 now, 32. He's got his injury problems. He hasn't got the greatest goal record bar 1 year. So I don't know if Harris would want to get rid of Bradshaw from personal reasons, because he loves Bradshaw. Fans do collectively love Bradshaw, I do. But I think if there is going to be one odd man out, I do think, based on style of play and similarities, I think Langstaff is just a younger, more proven striker than Tom Bradshaw. So I think based on that, I would say Bradshaw might go. I think manager talk, when there's a link to a player, they come out more and say stuff. The link to Wrexham was there, and then Harris is out talking about Bradshaw. Bradshaw's talking about wanting to remain at the club to see his days out of the club. So I think they're trying to, let clubs know, look, he is our player. He is important to us. And if you do want him, we're not going to let him go because of what he means to us. So I think there's a bit of both there. But yeah, I actually agree with Ben as well. If we didn't sign another striker and we went into the season with them 3, and you've got Marku, Watmore, Zian, who can fill in the role if needed, emergency, I'll be pretty happy with that.
Yeah, I mean, Ben, you was busy doing your hair prior to the show, so you missed the pre-match chatter.
I was, mate, yeah.
But no, I was saying, I think with Harris saying that, and obviously what he said, because he was very quite vocal about Bradshaw, and obviously I know you're a bit Bradshaw fan. I appreciate Bradshaw. I think obviously the goals.
Don't lie.
The goals flattered to the sleeve last season, and injuries as well, obviously, like Jay mentioned there. But I feel like it's one of those scenarios, it feels like to me anyway, if I had to guess, and as a stab in the dark, like almost as if Harris doesn't want to lose Bradshaw, but maybe knows he might lose him, but he's trying all he can to reaffirm that he's got a part to play here.
Yeah, again, if the rumours are to be believed, if he ends up at Wrexham, I wouldn't blame him now, knowing that we'd obviously brought in Nisbet last year. We've got in Langstaff again this year. Interestingly, I was actually just looking at Langstaff's height. Does anyone know how tall he is? Because in his pictures and videos, he's not. He looks bigger than what he is. That's what it seems like. So I even, just going back to Bradders then, it'd be interesting to see if we maybe change Bradders' role, or maybe just our expectations with him, and we just say, look, you are going to be that workhorse alongside Langstaff, create the opportunities, be the nuisance, but let him just be that fox in the box, the number 9. He's going to run scoring the goals. You just run and work your nuts off like you do anyway. We'll create space and we'll create chances for Langstaff. So maybe his role might change within the team in terms of us not expecting goals from Bradders as well. It'll be interesting, as we keep saying, about how Neil thinks we're going to set up with the combination of those, because they all seem, as Jay said, we probably do need a target man. It'd be interesting, do we push Zian up there? So yeah, it'll just be interesting to see what he does with those combinations.
Stephen, if you'd add on that conversation, mate?
Zian Fleming, really. I mean, what if you go 2 up front? Realistically, you're not playing with the typical cam, really, are you? You're playing probably with 2 holding midfielders or 2 central midfielders. So I can't see Fleming wanting to put him out on the left. I think we're going to be looking for actual width, proper wingers, in my opinion. And we all know
for 3-5-2, Stephen. Sorry to jump in.
Possibly, but I can't see Harris going. I mean, it depends on the players you've got, and I think that was what Gary Rowett and maybe Joe Edwards, they were so stuck in what they wanted to do. They were playing their formation, and they were just going to find players to fit in whatever, square peg, round holes, and all that kind of talk. I think Harris is going to go, I want to do this. He may be more flexible, but if you're going to set up with two up front, where does Zian Fleming fit in this?
Well,
I would like to see him as a second striker, to be honest with you, maybe with Langstaff, but then you've got. We're not going to sign a target man. You're going to have Bradshaw and Nisbet, sitting on the bench thinking, a lot of money in Nisbet. Bradshaw thinking I could have gone elsewhere and been playing football. So I don't think there's the Fleming saga's over just yet this summer. I certainly think there's going to be more to come there, but we don't know how Harris wants to set up. We don't have a full squad. We can't see what he's trying to build at the moment because we don't know the players that are coming in. So that's the one that's interesting for me. On the bit with Nisbet and Bradshaw, the club are too financially invested in Nisbet, as we've said. I think had Bradshaw been a bit younger, I think he would have been a shoe-in to stay. The fact that he's a little bit older, Harris is maybe playing the add on an extra 100k to the transfer bid that you put in, and you can have him basically.
Yeah, I just want to back off of the Zian thing because I don't know if you remember, like when Ben Thompson had that little run, he looked like he was going to be a really good player. We actually played in that diamond formation in a 4-4-2, where Ben Thompson actually sat in that cam position and just dropped back defensively. I think Zian could really do a job if we was to play that type of formation. I've also been very outspoken about Zian potentially dropping into a centre midfield role and having that Vieira Petit role where one sits, one goes, and he joins in the attack like that because he's very physical. Very physical. He puts himself about and he gets stuck in. He could quite easily play centre mid and drive us forward. I think he's got them attributes. But I don't think if Fleming's here, Harris is going to find a way to get him into that team. 100%. Without a doubt, because he's a class player.
I think.
I agree, but sorry, Omer, I agree. But and this maybe to you, would you rather see Zian Fleming next to Langstaff or behind Langstaff?
I think he probably will be the second striker, to be honest. I think also when you look at Langstaff's goals, like Ben mentioned, obviously the clips and stuff, everyone's also spoke about his pace, and we haven't seen him yet up close and personal. But I can see a world where Fleming's dropping deep, gets on the ball, and he threads them passes through to Langstaff, and he's
4-4-1-1.
Yeah, and maybe there is a world where that happens, or then you've got the wingers maybe to bomb up a bit more if we're going for wingers. I know he was linked to that Reading winger, wasn't it? Femi Aziz or whatever his name was. So
yeah, but you've even got the option of 4-3-3, Omar, because Langstaff, I mean, I don't know how many of you know, actually used to play on the wing as well. Yeah. He can actually play on the wing. So you could have him as as the wide of a three, not wide, but the right side of a three, Bradshaw in the middle, Zian to the left sort of thing, or Bradshaw to the left, Zian in the middle. He's got good thing about Fleming, and the good thing about these Langstaff that we've signed and the options that we've got is that he can be really versatile at the moment. If he does get a couple of wingers in, we've just spoke about 3 or 4 different formations that Harris can run based on Zian's qualities as a 10, as a number 9, like a false 9 supporting a striker, and with Langstaff being able to drift wide. There's so many variations we can play. I don't think we'll see a set formation each game. I think it will just adapt within game.
Sorry, just out of context, Millwall, we would be the only club in the world to sign a striker that's got over 100 goals in 3 seasons and playing wide right.
No, I meant I know. Yeah, exactly that. Yeah. I meant wide right of a 3. If you're playing
Langstaff
4-3-3,
Langstaff also said in second half last season when they changed managers in Notts County, he had to redevelop his game and be almost that deeper striker as well. So, I mean, he backs himself, seems fairly confident. I mean, I don't want to talk too much more about Langstaff, obviously, because we've done a couple of shows on that and on him. But there is obviously, it'd be interesting to see how it plays out, like we said. And I guess next, Ben, is obviously who else is to come in, mate, and where we go from here. I mean, obviously, the goalie from Lincoln is strongly linked and supposedly imminently joining. Where'd you go from there, mate? Because I know obviously we've been talking in the chats about maybe 3 or 4 more, but you think maybe 5 or 6 more, or where'd you sit that, mate?
Yeah, I think for just touch on the keeper for a sec, I don't personally know anything about him, haven't seen him play, so I'm only going to get on hearsay and what Twitter's been saying basically. But he seems like he was right up there in terms of numbers in League One last year, in terms of save percentage and things. All the Lincoln fans again on threads and that seem to be telling us to leave him alone and or how good he is. So yeah, I think positive. Look, we've obviously needed the keeper for obvious reasons. If that gets done, I think it's 3 key bits of business ticked off early in the window. as I said, I still think we need it. Listening to Harris again, there was a bit of, I don't know how I took it, maybe with a bit of rose-tinted glasses and hoping it was more the latter than the former. But he said we've got 1, 2, and 3, or 1 and 2 done, 3 potentially, and then 4, 5, and 6 to follow. I was hoping it was going to be 4, 5, or 6 more, but maybe it just means the number of the signing. But yeah, look, if we get 6 in, your take was, I'm hoping it was permanent. If we got 6 new permanent signings, that's an unbelievable window in for us. No doubt then we're going to add a couple on the loan market, because he did speak about that. So that will be something that we're obviously looking to utilise. And then I think we'll have a couple out the door just as a natural progression then. So, look, it's all, again, talk about trending last year with Tanganga. We're trending in the right direction with our recruitment, which, again, has not been often said in recent seasons.
Stephen, I think you're itching to come in, mate.
I can't see it being just 6, because you've got 2 in, right? The third one's the goalkeeper. Connell Truman has never played, to my opinion, never played a first team
not many
game, or if at all, not many. So you're going to have to sign a backup goalkeeper, and Truman's injured. So that'll be 2 signings in and 2 goalkeepers. So that means that we're only going to be bringing in 2 more players into the squad. And for me, that's not enough. We'd be very, very short in certain areas if that's all we're going to be bringing in. So I've got Ben's rose tinted glasses on as well, but I would like to think that it is maybe a few more than that. Maybe it is the loan market. I think we need 2 wingers. I still believe we need another centre half. And possibly, if the budget will allow, because we don't know the strength of Joe Bryan in terms of playing a full season, someone who may be able to fill in at left back. So
what do you mean, mate? We've got our natural left wing back in Danny Mack now.
Well, that's the other thing, isn't it? Is Harris really comfortable? No. He was excellent, and I quite agree. But Harris alluded to last year on a lot of occasions he wanted a left-footed left back. He did make those comments, and I wouldn't be against having Danny Mack there at all, and I'd have him ahead of Joe Bryan to start the season. Obviously, all things being well with injuries and how players play and all that. But if Harris wants a left-footed left back, that might be one if we can stretch the budget a little bit more. And I still think there's another striker coming as well. So I think Harris is possibly saying we've got a few things we're working on, and this is where we're going to be maybe before they go to Spain. But I do think as the window progresses, I do think you might see a couple more faces in than what they're letting on.
Just to jump in on the left-footed left-back piece, do we think there's an element of Adam Mayer going into that position? I know he's injured, but do we see him slotting in there, or do we still think his role for us is going to be further forward? I know we can't really tell based on what we've seen so far, but
personally, I think he's going to go. If he wasn't injured, I think he'd be gone this transfer window. I don't think Harris has got. I just don't see. We were crying out for some whip.
What, on loan?
Yeah, not permanently. I thought he might have gone on loan, and the injury changes that. We're looking for wingers, so he's not going to play there.
I'll be hugely disappointed if he doesn't get a opportunity. I was impressed with what I saw. I know it was only limited, but he was positive in those limited minutes.
Very direct.
Who is this about? Sorry, it's about
Adam Mayer.
Oh yeah.
I just can't see it. I can't see it with what Harris has said and the apparent links with wingers. I'm not sure personally, and it would be a shame because I think there is a little bit of raw talent there. It just needs to be channeled the right way.
We put up good numbers for Morecambe, right? Mm-hmm. And we obviously, Joe was certainly must have been looking at him. I know whilst he was here, but Omer, what's your?
Yeah, I like him. I think he will get. I think he'll get a go. I don't see why. I think, but obviously the injuries set him back massively.
Of course.
I think also, like we're saying at the start of the show and talking about James Belson's kind of investments, I think he wants to see these young players develop. And I think this is a big gift for Roman Esse. I said it on the show the other night. I think, Esse, if he's got that kind of potential, now's the time to start really showing it properly. And I mean, is he going to fit into a 4-4-2? I think he's done all right in a couple of games towards the end of last season out wide. So that's why I'm a bit relaxed. Obviously, I want us to get some natural pace in the side, like on the wide areas. But I think we don't need too many out there because you've got Watmore, you've got Mayo once he comes back, you've got Roman Esse. Honeyman could do a job. I mean, I want Honeyman to stay in the middle, but I don't think he'll feature there. I think he'll want him on the right side, and then when we play maybe away from home. But I think we need one more proper winger with a bit of pace. But as East looks good, I mean, we'll have to see, won't we, I suppose. I mean, what do you reckon, Jay?
Yeah, I agree with the overall sentiments from the boys. Look, I think if we can get 6 permanents in, that's a good start in positions of need. The keeper coming in, look, 6'6", he's massive, big, massive Dane, top keeper in League One. He had the best shot percentage saves. He kept the most clean sheets. I think it was 19. That is a massive signing, and albeit one we didn't really want to make, one we've had to make, and we've done a pretty good job by all accounts. So 4, 5, and 6, I expect to be 2 wingers and a centre half, or 2 wingers and a striker. And then I think maybe even a 7th with, a potential let go coming back, or, reworking the deal for a centre half or something, and then look into the loan market. Definitely 2 wingers. And Harris is going to sign a target man. Another striker's coming into this club, I think, because he's always had his Steve Morrison, his Matt Smith, in his 4-4-2. I don't think he'll play 4-4-2 without a target man. I don't think Zian is target man enough for him, but it remains to be seen.
It does indeed. I mean, obviously, we'll wrap up on that talk just for now and finish off with a 0-0 draw against Bromley, which was behind closed doors. I know Harry said in his interview it was pretty much half first team, half 21s. I guess, we'll look to obviously a 0-0 draw there against Bromley, and then you've got Saturday, Gillingham. Anyone making it to Gillingham on Saturday? Come on, one of you got there. One of you.
Sadly not.
It's disgraceful. It's disgraceful. I might still be there, depending on the result tonight. Everyone's listening tomorrow. But if England lose, I'll probably be there on Saturday. But if they do, I'll be in Germany if they win. But look, it's all about preseason, not getting injuries. I think Harry said 4 or 5 didn't feature in the behind closed doors game. I mean, Steve, it is about not getting injured and getting fitness, isn't it? But obviously, I think he said a few more will be featuring on Saturday. It's just getting the minutes in and obviously not doing too much more than that, really.
Absolutely, especially the early games. It's the later games where you're probably working out who's going to play and who the first choices are. This one is just basically getting some minutes in the legs. Maybe Tanganga and more so maybe Langstaff fitting in with the squad and the players and the style and all that. The only thing I would say is the fact that we still think, between us, we've collectively said really that we're looking at maybe another 5, 6 signings, maybe even more than that. The preseason games are really important for getting minutes in the legs, but we're going to have to get those bodies in sooner rather than later, rather than get to maybe the Southampton friendly and go, right, play. They got to manage it right. But so far, preseason's gone fairly well, and let's hope that they take another good step in the right direction on Saturday.
I think I commend the club as well for their patience, Ben. I mean, we're all getting itchy, weren't we? And thinking, come on. I mean, I wanted some players to be joining from the start of June, to be honest, like when the free transfer window opened, but it didn't happen that way. But we've got 2 bigger signings in, 1 more to follow. That sounds promising. It's patience more than, caution to the wind, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, we do it all the time, right? The club are very, very close to their chest in terms of who our targets are, where they are in transfer processes. Normally when a name gets released, again, we're just using the Lincoln keeper. We've released that name, or South London Press have, and Rich, etc. Then it's pretty much we're going to get them, right? Because if we don't release names. So, we were getting itchy feet, but we always have faith, don't we? We're going to get it done.
Yeah, that's it. And I think,
all right.
I think also, I think Jay's obviously Harris's words as well. I think, as Stephen mentioned as well, it's about getting these players in prior to when we go Mercia, isn't it? I think, and getting some bodies in and gelling together and hopefully being ready for start of the season. Come Watford at home, mate.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, it's just pre-season's a big worry because you want pre-season to come around, but then you want it to be over very quickly. And the start of the season comes and you've got a fully fit squad and everyone's gelled and you're happy. But yeah, look, people worry about results. Some people don't care if we lose 6-0 every pre-season game. As long as you can see what they're trying to do, relationships are being built. There's no injuries and we're ready to go and we're fully fit. That's all I'm concerned about. So it'd be good going out to Spain, when hopefully it's nice and hot and we get some hot weather training out there and we start to ramp things up a bit. But yeah, it'd be good, like Stephen said, for your Langstaffs and, whatever other new signings we have coming that potentially would probably make Spain, the Spain trip, the deadline for bringing in the permanents, I guess. So yeah, get them in and get them out there and hopefully everyone's fit and healthy. That's the main thing.
I want to look forward to getting a tan in Mercia for the second game, so I can't wait. All right, any other business? Anyone got anything to add before I start to wrap the show up? Anyone any more?
Can I just say the meltdown the other day when someone posted on Twitter that Tanganga was on a flight to Italy? Hold on. The meltdown, if we lose every pre-season game 6-0, Jay, the meltdown on Twitter will be unreal, by the way. I agree with the sentiment. But if we lose every pre-season game 6-0, everyone will be going to Watford utterly depressed.
No, I do agree to that extent. I'm more don't care about the result. I just care about everyone's healthy. But I think we said it in the chat, or I definitely have said it in our group chat that Millwall fans or some Millwall fans just when they get one little inkling that something's gone wrong, and it is like the Titanic. It is spreads like wildfire. And it's just ridiculous. It's Tanganga has caused, not him personally. If you're watching Tanganga, you've done nothing wrong, but your name has caused so much. Honestly, I had brown hair. I've got grey in the beard now. I'm just to end it. I'm so glad that this is done. I'm also so glad that Charlie Cresswell is now done and gone somewhere.
Yeah.
Because sick to death of hearing that name now. But the two centre halves that we cannot stop talking about are now set somewhere, and I'm just glad that one of them's with us.
You just know that when Cresswell doesn't play many games this year, that next summer we go again.
It's January, mate. It's January.
We go again. That's it. We go again. But yeah, Jay, thanks for coming on, mate. And also Ben, any last words, mate?
Just sadly, I can't go to Mercy. I know a few of you. Well, you going home? I know a few of the other lads are going. Hopefully, this is a sign of things to come because I'm away that weekend and I can actually just block out July next year and be like, well, there's a chance we might be playing abroad again. So hopefully there's some things to come in future years. But no, look, positive, very positive. 2 signings, 3 pending. An unusual week to be a Millwall fan when transfers are concerned because normally we're questioning them. So very happy, mate. And I'll be seeing Stephen in 2 days.
You will be. Stephen, any last words, pal?
Just a good time to be a Millwall fan at the minute, it seems, isn't it? Everything's moving in the right direction. Obviously, we've had a lot of trauma at the club over the last 12 months or so. So hopefully we can put a lot of that behind us, not before remembering Matty in the first home game, but hopefully we can put all that behind us. And as Ben said, we are in Manchester on Friday. If anyone's about, come say hello. I doubt it, but you never know.
That's it. Yeah, well, end of the show. Boys, thanks for coming on. If you're new around here, be sure to like and subscribe. I'm pretty sure there'll be a Friday Night Live on Friday with Mickey. Whether I'm there or not remains to be seen after this game tonight. But yeah, thanks for tuning in, guys, and speak to you soon.